welcome to the BullCast podcast. I'm Katie Pickler, and with me today is Court Winsett.
Hello, Katie.
And Cameron Spann.
Hello, Katie and Court.
Oh, psychology. Court,
Yes.
did you have to take psychology when you were in high school?
Have to? No, it was an elective, but I took it.
Wasn't it? It was
In college, it was, not high school. College, I had to take it.
I can't see. I thought high school we had to take it too.
Well, see, you went to a real high school. I did not.
I went to a real high school.
I'm a real boy.
I'm a real boy. Thank you. That's where I was going with that. So we're going to talk about the psychology of money. I know we've definitely touched on this before, but as you know, I love looking at behavioral finance, the psychology behind it, why we do what we do, why we spend the way we spend, save the way we spend, how we react, and how it's evolving. But so much of it is emotion is behind money. As we've done on a lot of these episodes, every little thing you can boil it back to some aspect of finance, even if you don't think it is. Very much time set. You know, I talk about the Devil Wears Prada opening monologue, or not opening monologue, but the monologue with Miranda Priestley, where she talks about that stuff you're wearing was picked for you. Everything then can relate back to finances. It really has this big core with it all. So long rant for me to say, money decisions often feel straightforward in theory, but much harder in real life. It's absolutely hard. You think about it. Hey, don't have debt. Save. Don't spend above your means.
Sure.
Okay, but that's not reality. Emotions, habits, past experiences can influence how people react to market changes, financial planning, or even routine money choices. Sometimes without even realizing them. We do things because it's nature. It's what we think about. We're like, oh, okay, I had a good day. I'm going to go splurge and do this. And you're not even processing why are you constantly having to reward yourself financially, spending something or buying something.
So today we're going to talk about your feelings.
Feelings and how they can show your financial behavior. We do have a great list here. This is the best therapist in pop culture, according to this list. There's definitely a lot of therapists out there, but let's just round robin this quickly. The first one.
I'll go. All right, this would be Dr. Melfi from The Sopranos. Now, I have not seen the entire series. Are y'all caught up?
I have not seen the entire. It's on my list to continue.
I stopped watching in like the last or the second to last season, so I never saw the end, but I've read everything about it.
Yeah.
So
Apparently, this Dr. Melfi is one of TV's most iconic therapists because she calmly studies one of the most complicated characters in pop culture. And before reading further, I'm assuming it's Tony Soprano. Let's look. Yes, Tony Soprano. He is very complicated. She's a great supporting character. All of them are. And they have their own arcs and inner lives that exist beyond servicing the protagonist's journey. So this therapist, Dr. Melfi, she struggles with whether to continue to treat Tony, and it makes her complicit in his crimes. So that's a little sketchy. But yeah, I need to check up on the show.
Next
is Sean McGuire.
There we go.
Robin Williams, psychiatrist from Good Will Hunting. Robin Williams' Oscar-winning performance as Sean McGuire gave us one of cinema's most heartwarming therapeutic relationships. Sean is the therapist who finally breaks through Will Hunting, not through clinical technique, but through genuine human connection and vulnerability. Sean works as a character because he's not there to fix Will from a position of superiority. He's a wounded person helping another wounded person, and that equality creates authenticity. Robin Williams was a Southie. Matt Damon's character, Will Hunting, was a Southie. He identified with him. They bonded. It was great.
Well, I mean, authenticity is definitely something we talk about. It goes hand in hand with the psychology of money and just a relationship with an advisor. You've got to be able to meet people where they are. And part of why this whole podcast was started was not having jargon and to talk to people at their level, not talk above them, anything like that. Okay, Malcolm Crowe, Sixth Sense. This is Bruce Willis's character.
Yes.
Is there any mark of good psychologists more clear than when the psychologist is so helpful that their patient turns around and helps them? Because for everything Malcolm Crowe does to help Cole, the real payoff to Malcolm's effort is when Cole turns things around and suggests that his psychologist should try to figure out why his wife ignores him and why he can't open that basement door. No spoiler alert here. If you haven't seen this movie.
People have seen it or they haven't. They're not going to go watch it.
That's true, but it's got some good twists to it.
Next on the list is Dr. Fraser Crane from the show Frasier. I think we've all seen at least one episode.
Sure.
Late nights, yeah.
And they had a relaunch
Late
of
nights.
it too.
I saw it when it originally aired.
Boy.
But they had the original Frasier. Now they've had a revitalization of Frasier.
I have
a
not
reboot.
seen the reboot yet. But the psychiatrist regularly dispensed advice to Seattle residents sometimes while only half listening, and often with a superior attitude.
Yep.
His famous catchphrase, "I'm listening," is more than just a tagline. It's a disclaimer, a reminder that a sympathetic ear isn't tantamount to therapy. Tantamount. It isn't tantamount. What a word.
It's a word.
I'm going to throw a wrench in here so that we each can have two, because if I take this last one, then you don't get one.
Oh, I've pulled up another one that was
Because I was going to do one that's not on the list.
We'll go for it.
Because one of my favorite shows right now is Shrinking with Jason Segel.
It's a great one.
And Jason Segel plays a psychiatrist, and Harrison Ford absolutely knocks it out of the park as a psychiatrist that's in the same practice with Jason Segel's psychiatrist. And it's an amazing show. I love it. Absolutely love it. Harrison Ford is just hands down. His character is just perfect. It's absolutely.
The grumpiness is amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The last one on this list was Dr. Sidney Friedman. And he is from MASH, the psychiatrist who provides therapy to the doctors and soldiers in the war zone of the, you say 4077th? Is that how you say that?
I guess so.
Military,
Yeah.
4077th Mobile. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Mobile Army Surgical Hospital during the Korean War. His character shines a spotlight on mental health issues in war times, highlighting the challenges faced by soldiers and medical personnel. Obviously, MASH has lots of different antics. You've got the one character who dresses in women's clothes and trying to get out of his duties. The other one that I was going to mention that's not on this list, and I thought maybe it wasn't because he was technically a psychiatrist, but you said your character was a psychiatrist as well. Do y'all remember the movie Analyze This and Analyze That?
Yeah.
Robert De Niro, Billy Crystal, great. Kind of had a little bit of the Soprano aspect to it, but I mean, Billy Crystal as a psychiatrist was fantastic.
Yeah.
That's our list.
Okay.
So your money story shapes your money habits.
Okay. Explain.
Financial behavior is rarely the result of one major decision. It's often influenced by patterns repeated over time. It's your spending routines, your saving behaviors, reactions to market changes that develop gradually and become automatic. I'll also throw it's your family dynamic, it's your spouse's dynamic, how you were raised, how they were raised, how your friends act around money. It's so many different components to it. These habits tend to be affected by early experiences with money, how your family talked about it or didn't, moments of financial stress or abundance, lessons learned during formative years. And I mean, that's true. You think about it. People are often, the term gun shy. If something happened to them, then they're going to have that internal wound of like, oh, I can't do that again. I can't put myself in debt again because last time it was traumatic to get out of it. Or I can't pay cash for a car because this happened or that happened.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I was going to say it's important to remember that seeing how your parents dealt with money, it doesn't mean you're going to mirror that. It could be the complete opposite. They did this, so I'm going the complete opposite way. Yeah.
So for example, someone who grew up experiencing financial instability may prioritize safety above all else because, and we hear it all the time, I don't want to be like my parents. I don't want to struggle. I don't want my kids to struggle like they did. Or my parents gave me everything and I didn't appreciate money. I want my kids to have a better appreciation. Student loans are something we talk about a lot where parents can be divided on whether they're adamant, I don't want my kids to have to struggle and have student loans, or you know what? I want them to have some skin in the game. They need to have some loans.
Yeah.
Someone's family who maybe had this steady financial growth may feel more comfortable with uncertainty. If your parents never discussed money, you might also avoid financial conversations even when they're urgently needed. That is some people's plan, is just avoidance and they don't even think about it. Even down to if your parents never really had a bank account. I mean, there's still a ton of society that go and cash their checks at, different places and get the money and then immediately spend it. Talked to somebody recently who very well off, her family's very well off, and they don't believe in retirement accounts. They feel like it's a racket. They're never going to retire. So why should they put money in retirement accounts? And so there's just different disclaimers out there are not necessarily wrong. It's just retraining the brain of just because this is how one person did it doesn't mean it necessarily fits you.
Okay. So the emotions, the feelings,
Court, get us in our feelings.
the feelings that drive most money decisions, probably, I would suspect, obvious, but you basically two different emotions. Both are drivers of money decisions, one being fear and the other one being optimism. So fear is a typical reaction during times of uncertainty, such as, market volatility, economic headlines, health concerns, or even job transactions. Fear can lead to thoughtful caution, which is valuable, obviously, but it can also result in paralysis, avoiding investment conversations, keeping too much money in cash instead of putting money in investments that will actually grow, or postponing important money decisions because you just don't want to face them. So you just kick them down the road. That's all fear-driven stuff.
Fear is legit. It's a real thing, and it's how do you manage it? And that's why it's important to talk to somebody about it. And that people usually don't blink an eye when they're thinking, oh, I'm going to go talk to my therapist or my psychiatrist to help me with these different things, help me with my fears of taking that next step in the job or asking the girl out, whatever it may be, interacting with family. Same thing with financial. Number of times I've had to try and coach people because they're scared to pull the trigger and buy the house, or they're scared to retire. That's a huge one, that they want that peace of mind of, you've done what you need to do. The money's going to last. It's going to be fine. We've run it through a bunch of different scenarios. You're going to be okay. But it's also taking that fear is a normal part of life, and it's just how you manage it. Do you let it consume you? Like we were talking about before, you mentioned like paralysis with that. Do you let it consume you and paralyze you, or do you let it have its time, take that moment, and then say, what's next?
It's funny, quickly, talking about fear and optimism, these emotions, y'all have seen Inside Out, right? It's a Pixar movie about emotions.
Yeah.
I like to think in the multiverse, in someone's brain, it is us as the emotions. The three of us are just at a control center in their brain, giving them financial advice.
Yes, exactly. Because you've got all these different voices. You have the voices in your own head, and then you've got the voices all around you. Even more so now, we're all under a microscope. We're all in the spotlight because of social media. And everybody's going to have an opinion. And how does it look? How does it look? Like so many different things about that. And there's a lot of bad information out there. So we've talked about fear. Now, optimism.
So optimism obviously is going to surface a lot more when you're in a period of stability or growth. It fuels confidence, which obviously taking action and having confidence about taking action can be productive. But it can also lead to overconfidence, taking on excessive risk, assuming favorable conditions will continue indefinitely, or underestimating how quickly circumstances can change. Like, for instance, somebody who bought NVIDIA 5 years ago, NVIDIA is the biggest position in their portfolio, and they just think it's going to keep on growing, and it's never going to go away, and they're just going to have all this great money. Things do change. Circumstances do change. You got to diversify.
Don't get too cocky. Both of these emotions have a place in your life and in your economic personality, I would say, but it's not letting one be in control. It's really balancing the two and letting fear have a place when it needs to. Because rightfully so, you should be a little nervous as you're trying to decide, am I going to buy this big property?
Yeah.
Am I going to retire? Because those are big milestones and you need to do your due diligence to make sure you're protected. And on optimism, it's being okay that when you have done all your checks and balances, it's okay to be confident and to move forward and know that you're protected. But no one needs to always be the driver.
Right.
Like Cam was saying, kind of that inside out, which I love that we're teaching kids that there's different elements of your life and different emotions that need to come to the forefront. And there should not be just one driver.
It shouldn't be fear the entire time.
It shouldn't. Well, I mean, both of the emotions obviously can be good. It's good to be fearful sometimes. It's self-preservation. It helps protect you from bad things.
Fearful of it sounds too good to be true when somebody's saying, oh, give us this $100,000 and we're going to turn it into $1 million by next month. Yeah, no. Say no. So the power of the pause. Interesting. When you're about to make or postpone a financial decision, ask yourself these 3 questions. Okay, I like this. So we're pausing. Kind of like I said, give fear that moment. Now we're going to pause. Am I reacting to something recent or following my long-term plan? If the news cycle or a recent event is driving this decision, 48-hour pause before acting could help put things in a clear perspective. Am I trying to avoid short-term discomfort or build long-term security? Avoiding discomfort is wise. Other times, it's procrastination in disguise. Would this still make sense if circumstances changed? If your reasoning works only in one specific scenario, the decision might be too narrow. These questions can really help create a balance between impulse and action. And this is everything. We all need to take that half a second pause. Think about when you get worked up and you're so mad about something, you're kind of just like, I just need to be quiet for a minute. I just need to sit and be quiet for a minute and not talk because I've gotten worked up and I need to clear my head and find out, is what I'm arguing about really doing any benefit? Am I so stubborn now that I'm just going to argue and I don't really know what I'm talking about? So that's on the emotional side of it. But on the financial side as well, am I so hell-bent because Cam told me I don't need to own NVIDIA or I don't need to own ETFs that I'm stuck with that? Why don't I take a second to determine what I want, what I need to do? Am I delaying putting money into an education account because I'm nervous that it's not the right approach with my money?
Mm-hmm.
Those pauses are a part of life. You need to take those pauses. As you said, fear protects you. Those pauses can protect you. And that's when my clients have those pauses, that's where I want them to call me and say, I'm taking a pause. I'm reevaluating this. When I come out of this, can I have a conversation with you again? And we reevaluate it.
Yeah.
Because if anybody's trying to push you and they're getting frustrated with you wanting to reassess, then that's not a good partnership. You need to have somebody that is fine. I have this super sweet couple. I probably ended up doing 7 or 8 financial plans for them, telling them they're in a great position. They can buy a house. They can do it. They can do it. And they never got on board until finally it took about 4 or 5 years and we finally got them there. And it was fine. Was I a little frustrated? Yeah, because I knew I'm like, the longer you wait, the more the house is going to cost, the more expensive it's going to be. But it didn't matter how long I could tell them that. They had to come to terms with it themselves. And so us as financial planners, we have to be patient and have grace because not everybody is seeing the same thing we see. You have to have your fear and optimism and have your pause to really figure out, is this the right move for me? Because there is so much noise. Because then you flip, and I've got a client that is constantly telling me all the TikTok videos he watches, and that they must be legit because their name is Finance Dude. I'm like, no, there's a lot of different things out there. And it's, again, they're spitting basic knowledge that may or may not be right and may not be a fit for you.
Would you guys say y'all are impulsive in general? Your personality?
I'm not an impulsive person, no.
It depends. Yeah, some things I am very impulsive about. Like, for instance, if it's something to do with like friends or family and it's like we all keep talking about, we really want to go to this concert or we want to go on this trip and everybody's hem-hawing around it, then I'll be like, I did it. I booked the tickets. Boom. We're going. And they're like, what? So I'm impulsive in that sense. And that's not necessarily a good financial decision because I'm buying tickets and don't know for sure if everybody's on board. So don't do what I do. But I would say for the most part, I'm not super impulsive with my core life stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so hypothetical. Consider this scenario. Are you the type of person that checks your investments on a daily basis, sits there and watch the volatility? If you're checking on your investment account daily and it's a volatile market, every time you check, you're triggering yourself, basically. Your anxiety is going to increase when values drop. Your relief is going to be palpable when the prices go up. But you're sitting there spending all this time watching the market, and sooner or later you start telling yourself, okay, I need to sell. I got to lock in these gains. I need to sell because I'm losing money hand over fist. If you pause in this scenario and think to yourself, am I reacting to something recent? Yes, you are. You're reacting to today's market drop. Or am I avoiding discomfort or building security? You're avoiding discomfort. Or would this make sense if circumstances changed? If the market recovered the next month, are you going to regret selling? If the answer to that question is yes, then it doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to make the correct decision, but it just gives you time to really consider, hey, why am I doing this? What is the purpose behind it? And maybe don't check that.
Usually somebody who is checking their account every single day, and like our system, we can see how many times somebody's logged on in a 90 days. So if it's like 130 times in a 90-day period, we're like, whoa, it's either somebody who just geeks out and loves watching it, or it's someone who maybe we need to have a conversation. Is this money invested when it shouldn't be? Is this not their appropriate risk level? Did they maybe, not fill out their risk analysis appropriately? Yeah. It triggers to me to have a conversation with somebody.
Sure.
And your situation can change because it could be like you were totally fine with it being a little bit more aggressive, but now you're hearing rumblings that your husband's going to lose his job, or you just found out you're pregnant, and how are you going to manage having another child in your life? And maybe you haven't told anybody yet. And so you're managing those fears and frustrations by yourself.
You trying to tell us you're pregnant, Katie?
No. Okay. No. 1-year-old twins. No, we're good. But that's where it is evolving. It is not... Your financial relationship with whoever it is needs to be a strong relationship where you have a partnership as your life changes, as your situation's changing. So it's building a healthy relationship with money. And, as a society, we don't talk about how much each other makes, how much debt we have. And I saw something recently. I wish I had taken a screenshot of it, but talking about the person who has $200,000 in their saving account or investment account and just paid off a $7,000 car. Most people were like, oh, they're cheap. They're just driving a $7,000 car, compared to the person who's financing a $75,000 car and has $1,000 in the bank. Most people would think, oh, that person driving the $75,000 car, they've made it. They're like living it up. But if you compare apples to apples, the one that's got all the savings is actually doing better. But it doesn't mean that I'm saying paying a cash for a car is what you've got to do to have it made. There's lots of parameters in it. You cannot compare yourself to other people unless you know the whole picture.
Yeah.
If you know for sure their debts, their incomes, their financial background, but you can't just sit there and go, oh, well, I only have $1,000 in my savings account, but you are completely debt free compared to somebody else. There's so many parameters.
Having a healthy relationship with money,
Yes.
It starts with self-awareness, right?
Amen.
You've got to understand your personal tendencies, the systems that are in place that will actually allow you to account for human behavior, for your own behavior.
When Katie gets impulsive and buys tickets to a concert in January and is like, oh, crap. And now all the friends, it's like, okay, well, if you can't go, it's a gift. Then I'm the one kicking myself like for months going, why did I do that? It set me behind on my goals.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to reach like Mr. Spock levels of emotionless logic,
No.
but it does help if you recognize your own tendencies, you recognize the patterns, and you can put things in place that will help you manage for them.
So we've talked about it before. Some people benefit from automatic savings, so emotions don't get the equation. And that is smart, where it's just every single month it's a bill. You're continuously saving. You're taking advantage of dollar cost averaging, whether you're doing it in a retirement account, you're doing a non-retirement account, education account. That is a way of you're not each month having to say, is it a good time to buy or not? You're just like, nope, it automatically happens. They pull it out. Others need to limit how much they check their accounts. We talked about that. Some find it helpful to establish a decision rule in advance. I won't make investment changes based on single day market moves, or I'll wait 24 hours before any purchases over $500. And I know when I was doing some of the like marriage questionnaires before we got married, then it was talking about like, what is the dollar amount that you'll agree, like as a couple, you have to discuss. And, you know, there's so many different things, but how your relationship, your personal relationship with money, but also if you are in a relationship, how do you two work together with money? How do they work with money? Because I can tell you the number of times I've sat in meetings and the bickering between.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Because it's not only how they spend or save and their opinions on debt or not, but it's also the difference of one may think is important to spend money on and the other thinks is stupid. Like you've got to navigate that. And that's where you've got to come to a common ground, or else listen to some of our other episodes. Financial infidelity is one of the top reasons for divorce. Psychology of money.
If you feel like you might need to make some changes to your relationship with money because it's driving you to do things that maybe aren't in your best interests, then start small. The next time you feel an urge about something financial, just pause, take a moment, ask yourself the question, why am I doing this? Would I be doing it if things were different? And try and make a slower, more thoughtful decision. Just start with that one change about how you make your financial decisions and see where it gets you.
Thank you, Dr. Fraser Crane.
You're welcome. Oh, there's the closing bell. Ladies and gentlemen, you've made it to the end of yet another episode of the BullCast podcast. If you liked what you heard and you'd like to hear more, please feel free to go to your favorite subscription service and sign up to have our podcast delivered directly to your device every single Thursday at noon. If you'd like to find out more about Cortland, Katie, Cameron, or Nicole, please feel free to go to our website. That website is bullcastpodcast.com. We've got pictures up there, we've got our bios, and we've got a place where you can drop a comment or suggest a topic you'd like to hear us talk more about. But I mentioned pictures, and we do have pictures on the Instagram, and our Instagram handle is @BullCastPodcast. We also have an X handle, which is also @BullCastPodcast, and rounding out the social media, we have a Facebook page, which is BullCast the Podcast, so feel free to check us out there. But I do this every single episode. This episode will be no different. Let me mention to you that Katie, Cameron, and Nicole and I all work at a place called Pickler Wealth Advisors. And if you'd like to find out more about us, find out about what we do, find out about what we could do for you, find out about our amazing team, or find out about our boss, David Pickler, please feel free to go to that website. That website is picklerwealthadvisors.com.
That's advisors with an O.
Not an E.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have given you everything you need to go forward into the world emotionally healthy. So for now, I'm Court.
I'm Katie.
I'm Cam.
And we're done.